Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mystic Talks with Mystic Chords. I'm Shilpi Chaurasia and today we have a very special guest who has done everything short of being a superhero, Mr. Amit Mital. So if you are someone who loves music or a career enthusiast or a startup founder or in corporate, struggling to find time to follow your passion, then this podcast is for you. You should definitely watch this. Stay tuned. Amit's resume is like a checklist of all the coolest jobs ever. Don't you believe me? Let me tell you why. Imagine working at Microsoft as a corporate VP for over 2 decades and doing not just desk job, but actually leading projects that literally shaped future. You would have heard of Live Mesh? Yes, that's his brainchild. And then just for kicks, he decides to serve as a special assistant to US President at White House. Casual, right? Oh my God, yes, and I'm not done yet. Let me take a breath. He founded Kernel Labs, a cutting-edge innovation hub, and also served as CTO at Symantec for 2 years. And as if that was not enough, he also became a ski instructor at a point. Oh my God, I don't know how he's getting the time to do all that. I think he has secretly cloned himself, hasn't he? So we will dive into his incredible career and also maybe understand and learn from him the knack of juggling between all these multiple roles. Maybe a few skiing tips will be coming along. And here's the sweet twist. So Mr. Amit Mital has a sweet connection with our very own Mystic Chords Studio, and our director Neha Hatwar shares a close bond with Amit's family, and we will hear it from his own words. So grab your coffee and sit back and let's enjoy Mr. Amit Mital in Mystic Talks with Mystic Chords. So Mr. Amit, it's fantastic to have you here on the sets of Mystic Talks with Mystic Chords. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Well, good to be here.
So you have had a remarkable career trajectory, from being working and leading in the tech giants like Microsoft, Symantec, and also founded Kernel Labs and served as, special assistant to the president in the White House, also senior director at National Security Council. So it's very inspiring. How do you feel about that?
Yes, I've had a pretty varied career. I've been lucky to have a lot of different experiences. The common thread between all of this has been a lot of curiosity and a desire to always gain new experiences, but also a very strong desire to make a contribution and a difference in a meaningful way.
Nice. So what motivates you? You had multiple roles.
Yes.
And what motivated you to kept going about it?
Well, as I said, one of the things that is a common thread certainly in my career is a very strong sense of curiosity, the desire to learn.
Okay.
Learn new things, learn from people, and then also another common thread is a desire to make an impact. Make a difference on things that actually matter in a significant way.
That makes sense. So you founded Kernel Labs, innovative cutting edge. Cut. So you hold 46 patents. So shall I ask which one is closest to your heart and why?
Well, that's like asking a parent which one of your 46 children is your favorite. If you have 46 children, you have bigger problems. But, actually, when I think about my innovation journey and the patents that I've filed, the more important thing is the people that I work with whom I did the innovation. So every one of my patents has lots and lots of co-inventors. And I was lucky to work with some of the most iconic people in the industry. And those are the patents that are most meaningful to me.
Thank you so much. ये section में देख लेती हूँ 1 minute. So, you are very closely related. Sorry, once again.
Your family has a strong
Your
connection.
family, your parents have a strong connection with music. So, your parents have a very strong connection with music. So, would you like to tell us how your family got introduced to Mystic Chords Studio and our director Neha Hatwar? Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Neha has had a really big impact on my family in the last, I'd say, 9 months. So, this started with a very difficult situation. Back in October last year, 2023, my brother passed away after a long battle with long illness. And that was obviously very difficult to the entire family, especially my parents. And as part of his last rites, we traveled to Haridwar, and it was a very meaningful and an important journey for us, and a great experience. And one of the nights, in the place where we stayed at, there was a musician, and he was, playing a guitar, and he was singing. And my mother, she started singing along with him, and it kind of reminded us that all through her life, all through certainly my childhood, and even as an adult, she sang a lot, and music brought her a lot of joy. But in the last several years, she had stopped singing, because of the sadness. So she started singing, and she sang beautifully, and she sang so well that the performer, the musician, he stopped singing, and he said, "Why don't you sing?" So that entire evening, she sang some beautiful songs. At the end of the evening, I spoke with my father and said, wow, this, in this moment of a lot of sadness, this music has brought a lot of joy and a lot of comfort. So, we should find out how we can make music a bigger part of her life, because this is bringing so much joy and comfort to her. And, she sang beautifully. She brought, it just gave her a lot of happiness. So when we came back to Bangalore, my father made a number of calls. And one of the first calls he made was to Neha, who had just started music teaching and music lessons. And he spoke with her, and she said, "Well, I only teach young kids. I've never done this before, but I'll come over today, just to meet to meet my mother." And she met with her. And she asked my mother to sing, and she said, "Wow, you have a really beautiful voice. I'd like to have you as my student." And so they started. So Neha started coaching her as sort of her guru immediately, and did that, for several weeks, for a couple of months, and. Here's something that was really sort of unanticipated, and we didn't, this very interesting sort of side effect of this, which was every time my mother sang, my father would record, the song on a video, and he'd send it to me. And, I think Neha would come maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And for several weeks, so we have these recordings, maybe dozens of recordings, which now we all have, of my mother singing, doing something she loved, certainly at a time of very difficult time, a lot of grief.
You want water?
No, it's fine. She was, very, very helpful. So, this is a very, we only realize this after the fact, that how big an impact this had and how much comfort it brought. especially because in late December, same year, a few months later, my mother again also got ill, and this was also an illness that, chronic illness that she had over a couple of years, and then she also passed away in January this year.
I'm so sorry.
Now, Neha came to all the rituals we had after she passed away in January. She was part of everything. She sang. She talked about how meaningful it was. On the Tereri, she also came. And instead of making it a sad occasion, we decided to make it an occasion where we celebrated my mother's life. Again, with song, we sang the songs that really mattered to her, that mattered to my mother. Brought us as a family very much closer together. And so, both in terms of while my mother was alive, but even after her passing, Neha had a really big impact. Yeah.
That's really touching. So Neha does that. One thing I know about Neha is that she brings happiness wherever she goes, and she is the purest of all. And the way she handles each of her students, I myself is one of her student, and I know she takes care of each and every student in the academy we have. She has this extraordinary talent to set up a connection with each and everyone. And while anyone can sing, but it takes someone like Neha to bring the beautiful voice from within and understand the true power of music and harness your own potential, full potential, So that is Neha Hatwar for you, I must say. And I'm very glad that Neha could come to the aid in that kind of situation. And it's really good. So would you like to tell us what your mom used to, talk about, after the classes, after the sessions, what she used to talk about Neha and the class?
Yeah, initially my mother was quite reluctant to do these classes. It was a very difficult time for all of us, and she found it from an energy perspective, she found it very tiring. But it was very apparent very quickly that how much happiness and joy this singing brought to her. And very quickly she looked forward to the classes. And I could see the videos my father would send me the videos after every class, and I could see the joy she had in performing and singing. And it was apparent in her voice, in her actions, in her smile. It was a very difficult time for everyone. And yeah, it was, it was, the effect was much more than we expected in terms of how much comfort and then also having this record, these videos that we always have now of her performing, it's quite extraordinary.
Yeah. Those are the valuable assets now.
Yes, absolutely.
So, also, afterwards, when you have interest in music yourself, or in your family still, your father likes music, right?
Yes.
So, does he sing?
Does my father sing?
Yeah.
Well, he tries to sing, but he's actually a pretty terrible singer. So no. I think my mother had the talent. And I don't think it's... actually, my daughter sings beautifully.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's a very, very good singer. But I think it kind of skipped a generation. It's, neither my brother nor I had any musical talent. I'm not sure about my son, but my daughter has a beautiful voice.
Nice. So she likes Indian classical, or she likes Western?
She sings Western music. I don't think, she isn't yet exposed that much to Indian classical music.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is that music has that ability to connect people. I never thought that I would be sitting here and I would be getting the chance to do podcast with someone like you. And, it's truly amazing that music connects at global level, It
Absolutely.
has its reach, it has its connection, and it's very powerful. So, what do you think about Mystic Chords' other offerings? Like, your kids are interested in any instrument playing or anything?
Well, my son has, he's taken a couple of years of guitar lesson.
Okay.
And yeah, so he's interested in that. My daughter is learning how to play the piano.
Nice.
And she's, begun voice lessons again, which I'm quite excited about. But yeah, so there's hope. I mean, I have very little musical ability, but there's certainly hope in my
You
in the
come
next
from
generation.
such a diverse background. You have corporate experience, everything, and your family shares music bond so deeply. So you have it in your blood.
I hope so. It is yet to come out after many decades. It's still hiding.
But you can still answer one question: is that how do you see AI? AI will affect music industry.
Yes. I think AI will affect it. Not only will it, it already is affecting the music industry in profound ways. So today there are apps which you can go to and say, compose a song or make a song or music which sounds like this. It is a sad song or a love song or a song with with drums in the background or this kind of instrument in the background and this kind of tempo, and instantaneously that song will be produced.
Correct.
And in some ways this song may not have existed or actually has not existed previously, but it's completely synthetically produced de novo. Now that's one aspect. The challenging part of that is, in order for the AI to do something like this, it'll have to be trained on lots and lots of existing music.
Yeah.
Okay? And so then the big question becomes, what about the copyrights and the intellectual property of the people who created that music on which the AI was trained? Should not they get compensated, for this use of their creation, of their content? And so that is going to be a issue that is going to keep escalating and increasing in importance. And there's no resolution to that yet, but that is going to be a big issue.
Yeah, so true. But there's one thing that with all this, the music which someone sings live in front of you and the practice of music, in a sense where you truly believe in that, it brings you joy, it brings you happiness, and it gives you calmness first and peace in your life. So that is one thing that singing practice and music you should do and bring in your life always. Don't you think so?
Look, as I said, I have first-hand experience, second-hand experience of seeing the effect of this.
Yes.
And I think that's certainly true.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on this. It was truly touching. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's have a rapid fire round. Okay?
Okay.
So I will give you two options. You have to just pick one quickly. Okay?
Okay.
Let's start. Opera or rock?
Rock.
Nice. Godfather or Star Wars?
Godfather.
Cool. Biryani or lasagna?
Biryani.
Nice. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Good. Cricket or baseball?
Neither.
Oh. Beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Cool. Hogwarts or Middle Earth of Lord of the Rings?
Middle Earth.
Oh, nice. Okay, now, which superpower would you rather have? Invisibility or ability to fly?
Ability to fly, definitely.
Nice. If you could live in any fictional universe, what it could be?
Any fictional universe.
Yeah.
I was going to say Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings, except, so, it is a beautiful environment, except a terrible, terrible, terrible sort of, environment at the same time, because there's always conflict and wars. So maybe not that. Fictional. I don't know. I think the universe I live in right now is pretty good. I don't need another one.
Oh, so you are a real person.
I'm a real person.
You are living in reality. Nice. So that ends our rapid fire round. Thanks for questioning everything. Very good answers.
Well, thank you.
We want to ask this question we ask to everyone in our podcast. So, what is life to you?
Well, that's obviously a very deep and very profound question. And depending on when you would have asked me this question, a decade ago, I would have probably had a very different answer. So, life is, it's many things. It can be a struggle. It doesn't have to be a struggle. For me, life is really about finding meaning, finding connections, connections with people, having an impact on the world in a positive way, and for me, life has really been about learning about the world, about people, but most importantly, I think actually learning about myself. Really trying to understand myself and how all this fits together. One thing I want to share, and this is something I learned very early on, is when I was starting my career, I went through some quite a bit of struggle, and it would have been very easy to sort of, and the struggle was quite difficult. It would have been quite easy to give up. And I can remember that sort of decision-making process very clearly, even though that was many decades ago. And I kind of made the decision that I really just could not give up. I had to just keep going, and I had to work really, really hard. And I won't get into the details, but I worked really hard, and it took me a few months to kind of resolve it. But one of the things it gave me was a very strong belief that as long as I didn't give up and just kept going, I could resolve anything. And the conclusion I came to, and this is certainly something every time I've hired someone or hired for somebody for a job or interviewed somebody for a role within my organization, I've asked them to describe experiences where they've gone through difficulty and asked them, how did you respond to it? And just let them talk. Okay. And at least in my experience, the resilience and the persistence and the ability of not giving up in the face of adversity is an incredibly important predictor and correlator with success. And one of the reasons I say this is because this is a very important. Resilience is not something you can teach easily.
True.
Because resilience comes out of adversity, right? You have to face adversity to have resilience.
Correct.
Right? And so, if you have this insight or this perspective that resilience is really important, say, okay, this is something I want to impart to someone. Well, who better to impart to than your children? Okay? But then how do you impart resilience to your children without creating adversity? As a parent, that's like possibly the worst thing to do.
Yeah.
You can do it artificially, but then it doesn't matter. It's not real. It has to be real adversity. Now, and I bring this up because fortunately, one of the things that my son learned very early on
Right.
was persistence and resilience.
Okay.
He learned this kind of the hard way because this was something he really didn't enjoy in the beginning. One of the things I was very determined to do when he was young was I wanted him to be a very good skier.
Okay.
Okay? Mostly so that I would have had a very selfish motivation, so that.
Quickly.
Okay? Keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was very selfish motivation because, I wanted somebody to ski with, okay, to go on trips with. So, starting when he was 4, I said, okay, I'm going to drag you up to the mountain, we're going to start skiing. And he hated it.
Oh.
He hated it, and he was terrible at it.
Even though you were a ski instructor too back then.
There's no genetic correlation.
Okay,
there, And I, for me, it took me a long, long, long time to get good at skiing.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that was probably his destiny to get good. Take a long time. So anyway, starting at 4, we might have gone up 20 times, 30 times that season, 2 hours each time. He cried the entire time. He melted most of the snow in the mountain with his tears. Okay? And so anyway, the season was finally up in the spring, and he's probably thinking, wow, okay, I'm done.
Okay.
No more. Next winter, okay, Axel, time to go again.
Okay.
You go again, cries again terrible. By the end of the season, he realizes, okay, well, Dad isn't giving up, so maybe I shouldn't give up.
Oh, nice.
Okay? So you're still bad, but at least he wasn't giving up. So the crying stopped. Third season, he actually starts enjoying it a little bit. He's still not very good, but he starts enjoying it. Okay, he's making an effort. And by the end of the season, he's actually getting decent. I'm having fun skiing with him. He's getting good. And then the fourth season, he starts actually really enjoying himself and getting quite good. And then last year, so this is like 6 years in or 7 years in.
Oh,
Okay, maybe 8 years in.
a lot of struggle.
A lot of struggle. No. Last year, like after 3 or 4 years, he started really enjoying it.
Okay.
It became his favorite thing to do. His absolute favorite thing to do. And then last year, he actually became better than me.
Oh my
Which-
God.
Was both a source of a lot of pride,
Yeah.
but also annoyance. Because what is this 14-year-old kid doing better than me?
Oh
okay?
my God.
At least wait till you're 18, right? Look, this whole experiment could have backfired in a terrible way, right? He could have really resented me and also hated skiing and all that stuff, but it worked out well, okay? And now he knows that, hey, look, as long as I just keep doing it, right, and keep trying, it's going to work out. But one of that is actually a really important life lesson, professional lesson, whatever, which is just don't give up. Just keep going. And if nothing else, everybody else around you will give up. So you're going to be the last man standing.
Oh.
Okay? And just the fact of having persistence and perseverance, it is an incredibly important thing.
Very well said. Never give up. That is so true. And moving on to our next question, which is on, which is more for our audience, actually. You inspire us so much, with your versatility, everything diverse. And now we want to know that how can someone aspire to become like you, Mr. Amit Mital?
Well, I'm not sure, got to be careful what you wish for. I think the common sort of theme across my life has been of curiosity. Virtually actually every one of my career decisions has been made out of a sense of curiosity. Very curious about this experience, learning something, and then also coupled with what impact will that possibly have. And if the impact is significant and I'm going to learn something significant, then that has worked out. Now, you could say that is a somewhat potentially reckless way of doing things because who knows, things could not work out. It's worked out really well for me. But I think curiosity, persistence, and a sense of impact, I think those three things together has kind of, guided most of the decisions I've made in my life.
Very nice, and thank you so much for sharing the valuable advice with everyone. And I would like to thank you once again to sit with us in the Mystic Talks with Mystic Chords. And I would like to now also thank our audience who tuned in. And thanks a lot, Mr. Amit.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you. So do you have any of your favorite song that you want to hear in Neha's voice so that she can share?
Yeah, so one song that my mother sang really beautifully that always really enjoyed hearing her sing was "Tera Mera Pyar Amar."
Okay,
Okay,
that
so
is a good one.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be a nice song to hear.
Oh, I will definitely pass this message to Neha now, and she will be right on this.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. A big thanks to all our listeners for tuning in. If you want another podcast session like this with Mr. Amit Mital, then fill up our inbox. Fill up our inbox. Clear नहीं आया फिर से. Okay, 1 second. A big thanks to all our listeners for tuning in. If you want another podcast session like this with Mr. Amit Mital, then fill up our inbox with all your follow-up questions. We will definitely have another session with him. Until then, keep music playing and conversation flowing. This is Shilpi Chaurasia signing out from Mystic Talks with Mystic Chords.